not 22. That's the version of Unity I'm using. Okay. Bum, bum, bum. Maybe I can do guitar for some of the track. I don't know. That'd be neat if I could just come up with some music. That would be sick. So it's installing all that. I still don't have an art style. I don't even have an idea of what the art style would look like. No idea. I think the white line art on black would be cool though, as an idea. Like if we did, excuse me. Like this is cool. This is neat. This is out of scope, but it's not entirely out of scope. Like this can be done with line art. The character art's different. Like that's tough, but it's doable if it was simplified. Absolutely. If I just like did some line art. I also have a sprite, so I could always use a sprite to make some art. And I'm fine just using paint the way I'm using it too. Like, I'm okay with a jack-o'-lantern being this. If that was in my game, I would not be displeased. But only if it conformed to the rest of the style. But that said, let's figure something out here. Let's figure something out. So I'm gonna keep this off to the side for now. I think I have just about everything else I really need. The GDD is looking pretty good. Yeah, right? Like different highlights would be cool. Like, of course, put orange and green and purples around. That's fun. So I might just keep the art style as simple and dumb basic as I could do it. Because I love doing pixel art. Oh, I absolutely do. But it's just not. It's not in the scope. My scope is not the art. My scope is the mechanics that are going into this. From an experimental standpoint, I'm doing things that I'm not entirely confident that I can do. And I should focus on those things. I'm not going to focus on the art. It's never been my intent. And I want to focus on the HUD. I think the HUD would be raw. Why did you put my Unity on my sideways monitor? Or I guess my upright monitor. I don't know what you would call this kind of monitor. I use it. I don't even know what I use it for. I use it for Discord now. I don't even use programming on it. Well, once it loads a project, I'm very happy to see Unity. Honest to God. I'm just happy to see Unity. It's been a while, and this is where I'm very comfortable. This is where I'm very excited to be at the moment. Let me fix this. Yeah, I'm just like a little home feel to it. Cool. This is Unity. My gosh. The first thing we're going to do, I don't know what all this is. We're going to close that. We're probably not even going to use most of that. Scenes, let's go ahead and add a scripts folder. Oh my gosh, everything's coming back to me. Scripts. Scenes, scripts, settings. What else do we need? I think that's it for now. I am going to want a... Oh, there's even favorites in here. Models. Prefabs, pivot, Unity. What are all this? Oh, there's a sprite editor. Is there... Do you have a sprite controller? Pixel perfect. There's a lot of weird stuff that I'm not used to. Huh. A sprite importer. Sick. That's so neat. Okay, well, we're going to ignore this for now. We have a blank project. Let's play and see what happens. Okay, good. Yes, we get our Unity Blue back. Yeah, that's wonderful. All right, it takes a second to play, but yeah, it's fine. Let's add a... Well, right now, we're kind of in this 2D mode. I want the 2D instead to be overhead. So then I'm working with the ZX axis, I think. Then I don't have to fight against gravity. So if I do this, instead this orthographic camera, I think I want to have it Z... Nope. I think I want this to be -90. No, I think I want this to be -90. Oh, I think I want this to be 90. Hey, we did it. Then I want this to be 0, and I want to go up the y-axis by 10. And now, this is how I think I would like to think. This is how my brain, I think, would do it. We have that. Let's go ahead and add some stuff to the scene just to see what we can do here. Let's throw a plane in. Just a simple plane. We'll zero it out up here, 0, 0, 0. We'll go ahead and I'm gonna put a sprite out here. We're gonna create an empty. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy to have empties back. Oh, having an empty is great. An empty only has a transform. That's it. An empty game object just has a transform, and then you can put whatever you want on it. Empties are my favorite. Unreal doesn't have empties. They have, I think, like scene components, maybe? I think scene component is as empty as you can get, and even then there's a lot of stuff. Like, it includes way too much bloat to it. This is not bloated. It has a position, a rotation, and a scale. And that is it. It also has a toggle visibility, toggle if it's static, and toggle if it's enabled, and that's it. So we're going to delete that for now, because I'll probably need one later. For now, I think 2D, sprites, and we are going to get... Ooh, a 9-sliced? No. Let's just get a... Let's get a capsule in here. That's it. Look at you. Oh, yeah. You are... I think everything's going to be rotated wrong now in the project. So, I wonder if this is going to be fine. We're going to rotate you by 90. And then we're going to lift you off by 1 in the Y. Yeah, that's fine. Sick. In fact, I think the background should be back minus 0.1 there. And then this should be at the 0. At the 0, please. Thank you. Let's take a look. Oh, yeah. Wow, weird. Very weird. My play button. Maybe I can make my play hotkey. Let's take a look. Maybe I can shift around some of my hotkeys. How do you shift hotkeys? I don't think I've ever done that. I think I've always just used whatever it gave me. I also think I want to do version control. We'll see that in a second. I don't want to use Unities. Assets. So what am I looking for? I'm looking to preferences. Oh man, I haven't seen this in a while. Look at you. Wow. Okay. Key bindings, something like that. Anything like key bindings, hotkeys, something. Package manager, external tools. It should not use Visual Studio. I actually want to use Visual Studio Code for this. And that'd be great. Version control diff merge. I think can we use... Or can I? No, I guess not. Okay. Okay. Project settings. Let's do that instead and see if this works. No. Version control? No. Dude, what do you get? I think it does. It just doesn't like when people use Git. Editor. JPEG. Compression, I think PNG. I'll set that now. 2D mode. Just make sure these are kind of set up while I'm here. Graphics, yeah, this is our graphics pipeline. Those are fine. I don't mind. Doesn't matter to me. Memory, package manager, physics. Actually, physics will be helpful to change. If I can change gravity? Where's gravity? There it is. Cloth. This is just cloth gravity. There's regular gravity. Good. So that's going to be set to 0. And now that that's actually set to 0, I could probably rotate everything back. Think that might be nice. And wouldn't it be nice? Yeah. Yeah, we'll go ahead and 0 things back out and put them where they were. This was at 0, -10. That's there. We're going to rotate this to be, I think, 90 on this. Nope, I'm 90 on this axis. Nope, -90. There. It's so much easier to change. Oh, in Unreal, it's just like you have to press enter and then it changes, and then you have to go back and then you have to click it. And here I can just press tab, enter, tab, enter, tab, enter, and it changes immediately. -0.1, enter. Did that go in the right direction? I can't actually tell. Oh no, I need to go in the Z direction, I think. Oh wait, actually -0.1. No, that was in the Y, and then -0.1. Nope, 0.1. There, went back a little bit. And then this guy can just go 0. Easy. And if we press play, which I kind of still want to do with my mouse, shortcuts. Whoa! I've never seen this in my life before. Oh my god. Oh my god. I don't know what button I have bound right here. What button is this? Let me check my mouse. Logi. So I'm going to check my mouse real quick. I'm going to see what hotkeys I actually have set. It's on the view too. And Alt-P. Okay. I want play mode to be Alt-P. So play. Alt-P is assigned. There. I want to try that. Oh my gosh. Wait, what's it doing? Oh my gosh. Okay, and then I just press the same button and it stops. I love it. Okay. So we have something set up. Very simple. Very easy. It doesn't move around. We don't have any input attached to it. But if we go ahead and select this capsule that we have here, we're going to add a component here because we now have a game object. These are all called game objects. Oh my gosh, it's so weird to say game object again, but here we are. We have a game object, and this game object has a sprite render and it has a transform. It also has some other stuff up here for layer and tag and static and enable, disable. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a new component to it. And we're going to call this, I'll probably go off of whatever this guy named his. It's just going to be a 2D physics-based character controller, and I'm gonna try physics-based and see. I'm gonna see how that goes. It might not be good, but it might be great. Would you name it? Oh, I can't even see that. I do not believe that's 1080p, my friend. Are you just calling it player controller? Please don't. You did? You did. Okay. We're gonna call it something different. We're gonna call it 2D player. Can you player? Director? Okay. We're going to call it a new script here called 2D player controller. It says it right there. 2D player controller. We're going to create a new script. Script name may only contain A to Z. Oh yeah, it cannot start with a number, I think. Player controller 2D. There you go. So there is our player controller. It's a new script. We finally have a script. We're going to go and put that in our scripts folder. We're going to open our scripts folder. We're going to open the script. We'll double click this. It should open. Yes. Yes. I trust the source. Great. Look at that. And we'll make it more readable. Boop, boop, boop. Boop. Yeah, if you want to help me out, sure. Install that, install that. If that's what you recommend, then I'm here for it, friend. Let's close that. Let's close this. Let's close this. Okay, we now have a player controller 2D. It is now updating with our references. Oh my God. It shows the references. This is so good. My gosh. Oh, it's good to be back. Let's close that, close this, close that. Oh, 0 references. Oh my gosh. It's great. So, first off, I did mention that I do want to make this a... I did mention that I wanted to make this a, how do you call it, a physics-based controller. So, first of all, we need to make some, we're going to put some variables in here. We're going to make some variables. We'll start with the first one up here, okay? This is going to, you can just ignore this. Do not worry about it. It just makes this keyword right here, serialized reference, or sorry, serialized field, makes it so that I can adjust it. It's a serialize it, so it exposes it to the editor so that I can change it on the fly. Just makes it so I can change it. Now here's where the important stuff comes in. It's private, which means I don't want anyone else to be able to access this unless they go through a function, if I have a function, which I don't. Float, which means I want it to be a decimal. And we're going to call this movement speed. This is how fast this player can move. For now, we'll make it 3. F. We need to add F because it's a float. The second one is we need a rigid body. A rigid body makes it so that this is respondent to physics and that physics can affect it. So it makes it a rigid body, a body in which that physics can apply forces onto it. So because we want physics to apply to this and we don't want it to just stick in the middle of the air, and I want to apply forces to my character controller in order to move it. There's a lot of different ways to do character controllers. At its simplest form, I think you can either do input-based or which is just kind of like incrementing. You take wherever you're at and you add a certain amount to it. Whenever you think movement, it's like, oh, here's a point in space. I want to move along the z-axis. Okay, let's take what our current z is and then let's add a little bit and then interpolate between those 2 points and you're moving. In this one, what we're doing is we're actually pushing the player and applying forces in different directions. And that's what physics-based movement is like. There's a lot of games that use physics-based movement to create a little bit more realism, especially if you want to affect the player without outside forces that they can then respond to correctly. So in this, oh my gosh, it auto-completes. We're going to add a rigid body, but a 2D one. We're just going to call it RB. And then the last one, I think, is we want to get... I think we just want to have the movement direction. Yeah, this seems right. I'm going off of some notes as well. So private vector 2. A vector 2 is just 2. Actually, we're going to be using a lot of vector 2s because we're only in a 2D system. We only care about what is up and down and what is left and right. We don't care about depth. So we're not going to care about depth. We're going to have 2D. In this case, we'll have movement direction. And what we will do is, I don't think we on start, when we start the game, we want to make sure that we have a reference to our rigid body. This happens, as you can see, this is called before the first frame of update. So before update goes, which is tick, this is tick. Before tick starts, we want to call start. And we want to do some extra stuff because this is of mono behavior. It's whatever the parent class is. Everything in Unity is part of mono behavior, which kind of makes this not really like a C#, true C#. You have access to C#, but really you're using Unity's code, which is called mono behavior. So a lot of people will be like, oh, I program in C# when I'm doing Unity. Technically true, but really you're also coding in mono behavior. So let's go ahead and get this. Let's get this rigid body. So we want to get component. And we're going to get the rigid body. So this assumes that a rigid body component already exists on this. All we're doing is we're getting this variable that we've now instantiated up here, and we're setting it to a rigid body component that this already has, which it doesn't. So I need to go out here. It's going to compile the code because I just went back and forth. And I'm going to select my capsule, and I'm going to actually add the rigid body component that we're looking for. There it is. We've now added the rigid body component. It has some mass, it has some drag, some angular drag when you want to rotate it. It has a gravity scale, but we also don't have gravity, so it really doesn't matter. So, what do we do with this? Well, now that we're a rigid body, I assume we have collision, don't we? No, I don't think we do have collision yet. Well, that will have to be added. And in fact, we could do that. We could do a box 2D. I wonder if there's a capsule 2D. Oh my gosh, there's a capsule collider 2D. And then we can edit the bounds of that, but as you can see, it's already gone and done the bounds for us. Wow's up. Yeah. It's okay, don't worry about front zombie. So I'm gonna look around at this capsule, and I'm going to just make like a very simple figure with it. Enjoy WoW, my friend. I know you've been waiting for it. Oh, this is our buddy. 1, 2, 3. There we go. I like this. Yeah, we can use this guy. So what we can do is we'll probably make this conform to the size of this guy right here. Like that. And then we'll just scale up what we have here. There we go. Awesome. And we'll save that. And like I said, we'll scale up the player. It's not a great scale. Let me see what it looks like in the game right now. See you, dude. Okay. I thought I took gravity out, but hey, it's fine too, I guess. God, just left. What if gravity scales 0? There we go. I think the gizmos need to chill out a little bit, but I think everything else is fine. There we go. There we go. Yeah, it doesn't have to be perfect, and that's more perfect than I would have needed. This global light can move away. There we go. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, good. Let's go back to our code. And so we have this, we have a movement direction that we made right here, movement direction. We want to know in what way are we moving? What way are we inputting to move? So we're going to get our input system, and we're going to set our direction to be a new vector 2. It's going to create a new one. And we're going to get our input, and we're going to get access from our input system called what we're going to call horizontal. So that's how it's logged within the settings that we have in Unity. We'll take a look at those in a second. So Input.getAxis horizontal may look weird, but I'll explain it in a second. So I'm going to save this, and we're going to get vertical, because we want to do, we also want to go up and down. And now we want a fixed update, because I would like to move on a fixed update rather than on update. So fixed. So input is received in update, but it is applied on a fixed update is how we're going to handle this. Fixed update happens every, what is it, like 0.05, 0.02, like every frame rate. It is a specific frame rate that it works at. Whereas update works off of the system time. I think the CPU specifically. So this makes it a little bit more manageable to what the GPU is kind of expecting. And we'll, oh gosh, no wait, sorry, I like went way ahead of myself. I need the fixed update function. There we go. And we're gonna go and throw this in here. Throw that up there, save it. And then our velocity, we want to set the velocity of the rigid body to be that. RB dot velocity. Oh. Velocity equals. So now our velocity is going to be this movement direction that we have now defined in our update function. So now that this is defined in the fixed update, it's going to apply that to our movement speed. So if we're moving up and right, it's going to give us a direction, a vector in that direction. And keep in mind, the get axis is a number between -1 and 1 in both horizontal and vertical. So if we're moving backwards, we're going to have a -1 times movement speed, which is going to move us backwards. Dun, dun, dun. There we go. Easy, simple. Okay. Now, what we can do with this, it's going to make it look weird when we apply a sprite to it that moves in different directions. So for now, we're going to see what this does and how this applies. We also want to make sure that our input system is hooked up correctly. So if I go to project settings, and we're going to look at what are we going to look at here? We're going to look at, we want to look at input. Input is the important thing. And because I haven't been in Unity in a while, it's going to not come immediately to me. I am in project settings. I thought that would be where input is. Selection, no. Project settings, preferences? No, that wouldn't make any sense. Boom, boom, boom. Input manager, it's right there. Axes. So there's a bunch of different ways to give input. Because we're using horizontal and vertical, we want a bunch of different ways to do that. So we have horizontal and vertical defined in two places because you can use a joystick or you can use a mouse. You can use the keyboard, sorry. So horizontal for negative is left on the keys, on the right on the keys, up or down. Then you have WASD as well. And it has a gravity of 3, and you can see how that gets applied too. But really all we care about is the fact that horizontal and vertical are being defined here and here. Here is where we actually get the access of a joystick. You can see the joystick X-axis and the joystick Y-axis. And that should be, that should connect to our controller. So I'm going to actually take out my Wacom tablet and I'm going to plug in my controller. And we're actually going to see if all of this input works out of the box. Okay, so haven't tested this yet, and we'll just see what happens. So first, we have the keyboard, which is WASD. So WASD, and you can see how it's interpolating between all these points. It slows down. That is the physics-based. Okay, so we have that moving around. Next is the controller, and the controller just works as well, as you can see. And the arrow keys. controller actually seems